Are you afraid of spending too much money on a car? Are your car payments too much? Or do you want to know how to save money on buying your next car? This week we're unpacking how much you should be spending on a car and 10 things not to say when shopping for your next car. Let me start by unpacking how much you should be paying for a car. If you need a limit to start with, don't spend more than 10% of your take-home pay on your transportation. But the real answer is as little as you can. Nearly every car is going to lose value, so why put a bunch of money in something that isn't going to work for you and other than getting you from A to B? Are you buying a used car in cash? Good for you. That's my preference. Aim to keep it under 35% of your annual income. So some recommend 50% as a limit, but the average driver can enjoy their next car for far less and put that money to something that brings them more long-term value. The first car I bought out of college was a Ford Focus. My family's always been a Ford family growing up, and I bought the most fuel-efficient ride that I could still fit a drum set into in the back. Even though I got a great deal, I still spent 100% of what I was making that year as a grad student, and the car got me through the next 3 years. In that time, the car lost half of its value. That was half of my annual income disappearing from my net worth. If I bought a used car, that loss would have been cut in half and the upfront of cost would have been far lower. You're probably unsure of how much car you can afford because all of your neighbors just own too much car. With rates and prices going up, the average transaction price of a new car topped $48,000 for the first time, an increase of almost 13% from a year earlier. Most new car purchases are financed, and the average monthly new car payment hovers around $700 a month, and that's a record high. With all these costs going up, you can't afford to overspend on your next vehicle. Now, either new or used, there are some things that you should never say when shopping for a new car. I really love this car. In a negotiation, you're going to want them to sell you the car, not convince them that you're the one to buy it. The more they think that you want the car, the less inclined they will be to lower the price or provide more incentives. I don't know that much about cars. It's time for you to do your homework. Cars are complicated machines, but the car buying process doesn't have to be. Know what you want and what you need before going shopping. Resources online can prepare you better than ever for showing up educated on what's available and what's fair. My trade-in is outside. If you are dead set on trading in your vehicle and you plan right away to do so, consider waiting to bring up that until later in the process. Here are 2 more things not to say when shopping for a car. I don't want to get taken to the cleaners. Don't assume the salesperson is going to be acting in bad faith from the start. Your rapport with them can greatly improve your ability to come to a fair agreement. They're trying to sell you the car, and being educated ahead of time on what a fair deal looks like will make the whole process more enjoyable for everyone involved. My credit score isn't that good. If you're financing your purchase, consider getting a pre-approval from your bank for the loan and rate. You should know your credit score before beginning that conversation. Remember, your rates will be worse with a weaker credit score, and you can improve that score with proven strategies. If you can wait a few months, save up a bigger down payment and work on improving your credit score before making such a large purchase. Here are 4 more things not to say when shopping for a new car. I'm paying cash. If you saved up cash and are against a car loan, I applaud you. But don't expect that to be the same reception from the salesperson. Wait until you settle on a price before excluding the option of financing. It can help you lower your overall cost even if you plan to pay in full that day. I need a car ASAP. It's hard to negotiate if you seem desperate. Remember, the higher your interest in the car, the less likely they will be to discount the price. I need a monthly payment under $350. You should be concerned about the price of the vehicle first and foremost. Your affordability for financing should come as a result of the homework that you've done before arriving at the lot. And finally, I'm a doctor. If your profession is a high-earning field, you'll be communicating that you have less of a need for a lower price and more ability to pay. The bottom line, nearly all cars are depreciating assets. They're not investments, they're utilities that are used and lose value over time. Your money is better put to work in a place where value compounds rather than depreciates. This is a fundamental principle that investors over time have relied on to ensure their money grows and meets their goals. Here are some words of wisdom from Warren Buffett that applies to this and just about any other money topic. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. It's not a good investment if it loses value over time by design. And also, it's far better to buy a wonderful car at a fair price than a fair car at a wonderful price. Doing your homework ahead of time will help equip you to win the experience.